The Detroit Lions sit at a crossroads once again, and Detroit's playoff hopes dangle by a thread thinner than ever. After scorching through the NFC North last season and finally breaking the mud, caliber mold set by legends like Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, Lions fans are nervously watching the front office's latest chess moves, or, more precisely, the glaring lack thereof. With a defense gasping for help on the edges and a secondary stretched thinner than Ford Field's patience come December, the silence at the trade deadline has deafened. How is this team supposed to fend off the Vikings, Bears, and even a resurgent Packers with a defense that looked like it was built by committee too afraid to spend? And now, with injuries piling up down the offensive line, the question is staring right back at Dan Campbell's aggressive posture. Why hold back now? The Lions could have gone all into block blows against divisional foes or crush opponents on the road, but instead, Detroit watched from the sideline as major defensive pieces move, leaving fans wondering if the playoff surge was just a brief fever dream. This is Lions News Fan Report, the channel where Honolulu Blue Grit meets cold, hard facts. If you bleed Detroit, hit subscribe and make sure your voice echoes from the Fox Theater to Ford Field, because what we're breaking down today could define this season's final chapter. It's time to talk about the big move that wasn't, and the one that might still be lurking under the radar. Here's what's got everyone buzzing and biting their nails. The Cleveland Browns dangled two of the NFL's most respected guards, Joe Bitonio and Wyatt Teller, right across Detroit's radar. Both multiple-time Pro Bowlers, both proven studs who could shore up Detroit's offensive line after losing Christian Mahogany to a devastating broken ankle in Week 9. Mahogany, who was already key in this line regaining some of its old power, now faces a long time out per Dan Campbell. So why didn't the Lions pull the trigger? Why pass on veterans who could immediately upgrade the trenches in one of football's toughest divisions? Let's speculate and break down the layers here. Bitonio and Teller both Browns, stalwarts known for explosive run blocking and consistent pass protection, would have fit squarely into the aggressive, physical style Ben Johnson preaches as offensive coordinator. Dan Campbell, whose head coach's DNA is all about marrying calculated aggression with relentless physicality, must have mowed this over hard. Yet the Lions walked away. Could it be cap concerns? Maybe they believe rookie Jack Conley on the practice squad and potential sliding of Tristan Colon or Kingsley. Aguakun in the starting roles can fill the void without collapsing the pocket. But with the NFC North as tight as a snap count between Hutchinson and the Vikings pass rush, relying on potential over-proven talent feels like putting your playoff run on ice with a butter knife. The defensive side is where this decision burns hardest. The Lions watched the New York Jets dangle Jermaine Johnson, a former first-round pick and Pro Bowler, right in front of them after NY dealt Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner. Johnson was reportedly priced at a second-round pick a price. Tag many teams would dream of for an edge rusher that could complement Aiden Hutchinson. Yet Detroit did nothing. This echoes the all-season decision to let Zadarius Smith leave, unreplaced before his eventual retirement moves that are baffling given Campbell's normally assertive urgency. The defense at 5-3 after last week's home loss to Minnesota shows cracks in depth and talent, especially off the edge where pressure is the touchdown prevention weapon that turns games. What does this mean for the depth chart? Eddie Goldman and Michael Brockers line up for limited snaps. Meanwhile, players like Ezekiel Turner see increased responsibility. But without a high-impact pass rusher opposite Hutchinson, opponents are scheming to chip away at Detroit's front seven. Secondary injuries haven't helped, and that explosive rush has become a premium commodity, one the Lions now must chase through free agency instead of the trade market. In short, Detroit chose wait and see over go for it at a moment when half measures could cost them the division, and maybe something more. The offensive line shoring up with rookie signings is a hopeful story, but it's hardly the stable fortress needed to protect a developing QB under pressure and open lanes for their ground game. The defense's missed opportunity to bring in Johnson stings even more when you compare it to Minnesota's savvy deadline deals that not only keep them competitive, but boost their depth full throttle. Fans remember too well what happens when Detroit hesitates, the 0-16 collapse still haunting the darkest corners of our playoff dreams. Last year's surge didn't babysit progress, it demanded it. The question isn't just about missing out on transactions. It's about whether this front office can match Walker's quiet resolve with Campbell's fiery intensity on the field. Because the NFC North isn't waiting for mercy. If you're tailgating at Ford Field, you know the gut check is coming. The Lions face a depleted Washington Commanders squad in Week 10. Yes, but 8.5-point favorites are supposed to dominate, not sweat over depth and durability. Jaden Daniels' injury is an advantage, but every division victory counts like a playoff win. Detroit's choices now will reverberate through roster confidence, fan energy, and Ben Johnson schematics. So here's the cliffhanger, Detroit. If your front office stays on the sidelines, how far can this team really go before the ghosts of past heartbreaks swipe another chance? Will relying on rookies and practice squad gambles keep us chasing shadows in December? Or is there yet another trade or unexpected move waiting to rewrite this season's story? The Lions have clawed their way back into relevancy, but can they do it without the muscle and tenacity of proven guys like Bitonio, Teller, or a game-changing edge rusher? This is more than football. This is Detroit. The time to flex or fold has never been clearer. Sound off below. How do you see these moves shaping Detroit's next chapter? Because if there's one thing Lions fans know, it's that hope is hardwired in Honolulu blue. And we don't do quiet. We roar. Lions fans, the roar at Ford Field could soon be drowned out by the echo of bold moves or bitter silence. What if this isn't the end of the shock, but the start of something bigger? The front office's hesitation has everyone asking, are we reading the signs wrong? Or is Detroit about to turn into a cautionary tale of missed opportunities? With the division tightening and the playoff clock ticking louder, every small detail now feels like a ticking bomb, ready to blow one way or the other. Could this be the moment where the Lions season pivots on a single gamble or collapses under the weight of its own indecision? The stakes are enormous, and the drama is just heating up in Motor City. Every hesitation costs valuable ground. This isn't just about a game or two. It's about the season's legacy. When the front office opts to wait, players like Hutchinson and Campbell's fiery attitude may find themselves scrambling against seasoned teams with upgraded trenches. If Detroit misses out because of these hesitations, the scars from past missteps, like the 0-16 collapse, might resurface now, haunting the franchise's future. The roster depth, especially on the defensive edge, is fragile. One injury or adjuster adopted too late, and the division's lead could vanish faster than the Ford Field roar. The message is clear. The window won't stay open forever, and each passing day might be closing the door on Detroit's championship dreams. I'm telling you right now, this is the moment where you either go all in or fold, and honestly, it's infuriating. The Lions have the talent, the grit, the heart, but if they keep sitting on their hands, we're just watching another season of might have beens. We've been down this road before, and every time, hesitation costs us. That's not how Motor City does business. We're built on grit and fire, not second-guessing. If we don't make the moves now, we better brace ourselves for that gnawing feeling of regret, because this team's too good to die from inaction. So, with the deadline approaching faster than a Hutchinson sack, Detroit faces the ultimate question. Do they gamble on rookies and scraps, or do they go bold, risking it all for proven stars? Because if they stay on the sidelines, the playoff picture might just remain a mirage. And if the front office gambles now, we could be watching the start of a dynasty or the death of a dream. Honestly, I'm sick of watching this team play it safe. Every year we hope for a spark and get more silence. Detroit needs to stop pretending it's just another rebuild season. We're clawing to get back where we belong, and that means making gutsy calls. If they don't pull the trigger now, they're just leaving everything to chance, and we all know how that ends. I want firework, not finger crossing. We've been patient enough. It's time for Detroit to show they're no longer just trying, they're fighting for respect. One pride is more than just a slogan. It's a call to arms. When the clock runs out on the deadline, we're all in this together, ready to roar louder, stand taller, and push this team over the edge. The questions won't wait, and neither will we. Gear up, Detroit. It's time to prove that grit still runs through our veins, that Honolulu blue can still dominate, and that the true Detroit spirit refuses to fold. Let's make this season ours.